There are a lot of great 14-inch gaming laptops on the market. However, they all seem to be targeting the $1,500 to $2,000 price point. And there's not a lot of options when it comes to a budget-friendly option for a 14-inch gaming laptop. 16-inch laptops, options abound. But the 14-inch category, I've been struggling to find one until now. And the thing that I've been looking for is not just a great price point. I don't just want a cheap laptop. I want a laptop with good build quality and good components to make it worth the money. Because there comes a point when you spend so little on a laptop or you try to get a cheap laptop and it just doesn't perform the way that you want. So in this video, we're taking a look at the MSI Cyborg 14. What I consider to be the best cheap 14-inch gaming laptop that has the performance that you need as a creative professional. So if you're looking to do video editing, 3D modeling, Photoshop work, or you're a designer, or you're somebody who likes to do creative work and you like to game, this is a laptop that I think will be suitable for you. Now, I've done a full best 14-inch laptops video, my top 5 picks that I would buy with my money. If you want to check that out, it definitely gives you a little bit more perspective on what's available in the market right now and what I think is really good. This video is brought to you by Asus ProArt laptops. The laptop's built from the ground up for creators. More information to come later in the video. Looking at this laptop, one of the things that really stands out to me most right off the bat is that this laptop is upgradable. It has upgradable RAM, which no other laptop that I've reviewed this year has upgradable RAM in the 14-inch gaming laptop category. So you're able to swap out the 2 RAM sticks. This laptop comes with 16 gigs of RAM, but you could take it up to 32 and even beyond. Now, the one thing that it doesn't have is an additional M.2 slot. So you do have a storage drive that is in the singular M.2 slot, but that would contain the boot. So you have the boot drive in the system. You'd have to swap that out, put in a bigger one, reinstall Windows and all that. So it's a little laborsome, a little troublesome. I personally would not do that. I would just buy an extra external storage drive if I wanted to expand my storage. But as far as the upgrade path for the RAM, it provides you with a really great option to get in on a budget-friendly 14-inch laptop with 16 gigs of RAM and then upgrade as you have the budget available. Now, the next thing I want to take a look at is going to be the display of this laptop. Now, this laptop doesn't have the most color accurate display, and that's one area that they had to cut a corner in order to make it more budget friendly. A lot of 14-inch laptops are coming with OLED displays or highly color accurate IPS displays, and that raises the price of the device. For this laptop specifically, we have 471 nits of screen brightness at 98% sRGB, 78% Adobe RGB, and 78% DCI-P3 at a Delta E of 9.51. So not color accurate at all, but it does have a decent color gamut range, and it has really nice brightness. So if brightness matters more to you than the color gamut range and the color accuracy, then this is going to be a great fit and at the right price. Again, if you're curious about the exact pricing and availability, I don't want to say it on here because it tends to fluctuate. I've seen a lot of different prices over the past couple of weeks. So head down in the description below, click those links. If you do make a purchase, I'll get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. Now, another area that I'm going to say is pretty sad is going to be the battery life. Now, this is a 53.5 watt hour battery. It only gets you 5 hours and 7 minutes of streaming video playback. So that's almost half of some of the more premium 14-inch laptops that are available on the market. Now, that it was even set at 20% screen brightness, Windows battery saver mode on, and then, of course, in the MSI Center, we have silent turned on. So you can see, man, that's really bright. There we go. Silent mode is turned on for the MSI Center settings. So again, that's a pretty big killjoy in my opinion. All right, let's close this thing now before we get any farther and talk about some things that I really like about it. We have an aluminum top cover, a nice thin chassis for a 14-inch gaming laptop, a light laptop. I like the plastic materials used. I love the translucent look of the bottom cover of the device. It's really cool. Definitely has those gamer vibes with a lot of the different textures on the bottom of the device. But a great feature on the MSI Cyborg 14 is you do have a dedicated network port. No other 14-inch laptop that I have seen personally on the market, as of right now, I haven't been able to review one, has a network port. I think that is an awesome feature to give you super fast connection to the internet. Now, going ahead and looking at the left side panel, we have a USB Type-A and our headphone jack and a Kensington lock, as well as a nice large vent. On the other side, we have our power adapter, HDMI, USB-C, and our USB Type-A. So really nice connectivity for the MSI Cyborg. This video is brought to you by the Asus ProArt PX13, a 2-in-1 laptop built from the ground up for artists, designers, photographers, and videographers. This laptop provides a 2-in-1 pen-compatible 3K OLED Corning glass display that is durable and color accurate. It weighs 3 pounds and is just over a half an inch thick. It has all-day battery life for productivity tasks, a durable aluminum chassis that exceeds stringent testing, and let's not forget about the Asus dial to streamline your workflow, providing access to your most commonly used tools. Equipped with the AMD Ryzen AI 9 CPU, 32 gigs of RAM standard on every model, and an RTX 4050, 4060, or 4070, this device provides the necessary performance for even architecture and 3D modeling work. Check out my full review content of the Asus ProArt PX13 within the playlist linked in the YouTube cards above or the description below. Now let's go ahead and get into the interior of the laptop. We can see our WASD keys are using a clear translucence, and then the rest are the black keys. A nice keyboard deck. It's somewhat quiet, has a bit of a clicky sound to it. Nice snapback though, very, very good keyboard. I do like the full-size shift keys. A lot of times brands go and they make these arrow keys bigger, and that makes that shift key smaller, and I tend to miss it when it's a 2/3 size shift key. So I love that the keyboard did not do that. And then looking down at the trackpad, it is a very classic clicky trackpad, really good click, no issues I've had while using this laptop. Right click's very good, left click is no problem. And it's secured well to the chassis. It's not rattly, it's a well-assembled laptop, and at that price point. Here's a quick sample of me using the keyboard and trackpad so you can hear what it sounds like for yourself. It does have a webcam on the top bezel. Here's a sample of me using the webcam so you can see it and hear it for yourself. This is the webcam on the MSI Cyborg 14 and a little sample of the audio for you as well. Now, the speakers is one area that this laptop definitely falls into the budget-friendly category because they are facing down and there's this rubber foot kind of blocking where the sound would come out towards you and really kind of give you that enveloped, nice, immersive audio experience. It does not. Here's an audio sample for you can hear for yourself. It's not great. It is suitable or serviceable, and hear for yourself. Without further ado, let's get into the performance benchmarks, and I'm going to skip over the simulated benchmarks and dive right into 3D modeling. So you can see we have 183 in Autodesk 3ds Max, 174 in PTC Creo. Autodesk Maya scores a 257, and then SolidWorks with a 99. These are great entry points for a 3D modeling laptop. You are not going to blow the doors off of the more expensive laptops in the 14-inch category. But at this price point, this is good performance. It has an RTX 4060, it has an i7 H series CPU, and it has 16 gigs of RAM. And for the spec and the price point, I think you're not gonna beat this unless you're gonna spend more money. So I'm not looking at this like, hey, is this laptop gonna blow the doors off of everything else? No, it's not. But at the price point, this is a really great fit. Now, moving on to the Photoshop benchmark, I think the one area where you could really see a quick boost in performance from this 6,673 is upgrading the RAM to 32 gigs. Photoshop loves RAM. The Adobe suite in general loves RAM. So upgrade this laptop to 32 gigs of RAM and you're easily going to see in the 7,000s as far as that score. And that translates into a quicker, snappier Photoshop experience, especially when adding loads and loads of layers inside of Photoshop. The more RAM you have, the more ceiling that Photoshop is provided, and ultimately the bigger the projects it can handle without slowing down. The next thing we're gonna take a look at is all the export times. You can see we have a 43-second export time for 1080p. We have 4 minutes and 39 seconds for 4K. Okay, so let me explain what happens here. When I go ahead and I export the footage, I take a 9-minute 4K clip, put it into Premiere Pro, and I export it out at 4K full quality settings. What I see happening is that about the 2-minute mark, it's at 99%. It takes about another 2 minutes and 10 seconds to finish the export. So there's some kind of hang up happening here within the MSI system that isn't allowing that export to finish. And I ran this multiple times, and for some reason it keeps getting stuck at that 99%. So it could be quick, but it's still about 4 minutes when it finally finishes the export. Now looking at the 6K export, this aligns at 21 minutes and 22 seconds. But overall, they're good export times. They're not great. And this is the RTX 4060 version, as I said earlier. And so, like I said, your goal here is to get on par or close to some of the laptops that are higher price point. You're not going to beat them with this laptop, just being realistic, right? That's what you're getting here. Now, one thing I really was impressed by was the fan noise, about 45 to 49 decibels for the 4K export and about 76 to 82 degrees Celsius. So it does remain rather cool during the 4K export. Really, really impressive. Now, the next thing to take a look at is the playback. For 4K playback, 0 drop frames out of the 16,177 in the project. But for 6K, only 104 drop frames. Really good, especially for that RTX 4060. I was impressed. And even when you're playing with 6K red footage, which tends to be a heavier footage type, it tends to be a bit meatier and harder for the laptop to process, 1,807 drop frames. Very, very usable. I think this could be a great red footage laptop, especially when you're looking at it's only 11 minutes and 46 seconds. However, those red cameras can cost like 10 to 30 times the price of this laptop. But if you happen to have a buddy who has a red camera, let you use it, you can edit the footage. Or maybe you just want a cheap laptop and want a really expensive camera. Who knows? This laptop is the best 14-inch budget-friendly laptop that I could find and that I would purchase with my own money. It has a solid build quality with an aluminum insert on the top cover. I really like the plastic, translucent plastic for the bottom cover. It's got great connectivity with the network port and additional ports on the right and left side panels. And the keyboard and trackpad are very nice at this price point. I think as far as 14-inch laptops are concerned, looking for a good deal, this is one of the best you could find. Remember that links are in the description below if you're ready to make a purchase, or click or tap the screen here for more videos to help you with your buying decision. I'll see you in the next one.